Hello student, so class 11, I hope you are studying well at your home. I am continuously sending you various videos. Please go through it and try to clear your doubt. Today again I came for the topic atomic structure. My previous video was about Bohr's model of atom. Now today's topic is de Broglie's hypothesis and Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. This is very much important for determining the actual atomic structure of an element, that is the structure of an atom. The first topic is de Broglie's hypothesis. In that I am coming. Although in pronunciation many people say de Broglie, but according to the spelling it is de Broglie. So I am saying de Broglie so that you can write the correct spelling. Before coming to that, we have to answer this question, that is, can particle behave like waves? This is the question whose answer I have to find out. Actually, answer have been founded by de Broglie. He is the scientist who gave the answer. Previously, I have taught you the dual nature of light. Dual nature of light, where I have seen that light can have particle nature also and it also behaves like waves. So similarly, if light can have dual nature, can particle have dual nature? That is, can particle behave like waves? So de Broglie told yes, particle can also behave like waves, and the wavelength of those waves can be calculated by using this formula. That is wavelength, de Broglie's wavelength lambda equal to h by p. H is Planck's constant and p is the momentum of the particle. Momentum is mass into velocity, so I can change it lambda equal to h by mv. He only told it that this is the wavelength. Now later on it has been proved that electron can behave like waves by these two experiments. That is, it has been seen that electrons show the phenomena of diffraction and it also show the phenomena of interference. One electron can show the phenomena of diffraction and it can show the phenomena of interference. These are the properties of waves and that has been shown by electron. So from here it has been proved that yes, particle can have wave nature or particle can behave like waves. So this is the proof that electron, although it is particle, but it can behave like waves. Now, why we in general life cannot understand the wave nature of matter? Everything is made up of particle, but we cannot understand it. For that, I have explained something here. Suppose I have taken one electron. That means I want to say that the wavelength, spectral lines of matter cannot be seen, but spectral lines of electron can be seen and understood. Mass of electron we know 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. This is the mass of electron. General velocity of electron is like 10 to the power 6 meter per second, which I have taken here in general. Another case I have taken as a tennis ball. Tennis ball, the mass of the tennis ball is near about 0.12 kg, that has been taken. Suppose the tennis ball is moving with velocity 25 meter per second. Now value of Planck's constant also I have written here, that already you have learned earlier. Planck's constant is h, that is equal to 6.6 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule second. This is Planck's constant. If I put the value of mass, velocity and Planck's constant in the given formula, that is lambda equal to h by mv, already I have written. In this formula, if I put all these values, I will find some answer. So I am giving you this question to you to find out the answer, then only you can understand it very well. In case of electron, you will find the wavelength, that is that wavelength is normal or that can be seen by spectroscope. Certain nanometer will come the answer. If you solve it, some nanometer will be the answer of this electron's wavelength. If you solve tennis ball, your answer of wavelength will be too small, which cannot be judged. So this is actually happening in the real life. The wavelength is too small, so we cannot find its effect in the spectroscope as spectral lines. So although each and every matter has dual nature, that is they behave both as wave and both as particle, but we cannot find out the wave nature of each and every particle, but electron we can experimentally prove. Now, before going to my next topic, that is Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, I want to say the failure of Bohr's theory. In the previous video, I told that Bohr's atomic model, it has explained the atomic model very clearly. It has eliminated Rutherford's drawback, and Bohr's model is also related with the spectral lines of hydrogen atom. That is, the postulates of Bohr theory can be related with the spectral lines of hydrogen atom. But later on, it has been found that in Bohr's theory also some drawbacks are there. First drawback is it is valid for only one single electron system. That is, Bohr's atomic model could explain only the atomic structure of hydrogen, which is having only one electron. Whenever we have taken multi-electron system, so Bohr's atomic model could not explain the theory, and there the spectral lines were also unable to be understood. Second failure was that later on it has been found that the spectral line which we have found previously, or I have discussed also, those spectral lines can also be splitted. The single spectral line can be splitted. How they can be splitted? They can be splitted by two ways, and those effects are known as, one is Zeeman effect, another one is Stark's effect. These are the scientists who have studied. So what he has found, when the spectral lines they are under a magnetic field, the single spectral line splitted into more parts. Similarly, the spectral lines, when they are under electric field, then also we find the spectral lines has been splitted into various parts. So Bohr's atomic structure couldn't explain these things. So later on, the atomic structure which came, that is based on quantum theory, and that is called quantum atomic structure. Another important topic that I am going to discuss, that is Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Actually, this is another, this principle states another drawback of Bohr's atomic model. That means the Bohr's atomic model have some drawback which can be proved after going through this principle. What it is saying, Heisenberg's uncertainty principle states that it is impossible to determine simultaneously the exact position and exact momentum of an electron. I am reading it again. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle states that it is impossible to determine simultaneously the exact position and exact momentum of an electron. That means simultaneously means together at the same time. At the same time, I cannot determine the position of the electron along with the momentum of the electron. The two things cannot be always accurate. At a certain time, we cannot get it. And that is expressed by this mathematical formula. Suppose I am taking x as the position, uncertainty is written as delta x, x is the position. So delta x is uncertainty in position. Momentum is p, so it is momentum of the particle whose position is x, so I have written px. So delta p is the uncertainty in momentum. It has been found that if we multiply it, means Heisenberg has found that it will always give you a value that is h by 4 pi, which is greater than h by 4 pi, where h is the Planck's constant and pi you know. That means it is always having a positive value. If we multiply the uncertainty of these two, we are going to get a positive value. Now, Momentum means mass into velocity. Now generally we know that mass is certain, mass is not that much uncertain. So I can change the formula. In case of P, I can write m into Vx, and in next line, as m is almost certain, not that much uncertain, I can take it here. So position uncertainty into velocity uncertainty, that is always greater than h by 4 pi into m, where m is the mass of the particle. Now if I can measure it accurately, if I measure this value accurately, the uncertainty of this value will be too large, so that the value can come positively and it can match with this one. If this value is accurate, the uncertainty of this one will be high. Similarly, if this one is accurate, uncertainty of this one should be high, so that only I can get these values. That means we cannot find out the position and velocity of a particle simultaneously at a time. Now what Bohr has told, how we led to quantum model of atom. According to Bohr, there is a fixed value of radius. We have seen that according to Bohr, there is a fixed value of radius. In previous video I have written about it, that is radius, how you can calculate. So radius is 0.529 into n square by z, that is in angstrom. That means it is a certain value, uncertainty is near to 0. Similarly, velocity of Bohr's atomic model can also be expressed by this formula, that is 2.18 into 10 to the power 6 z by m. So both are having certain values. That means in this formula the uncertainty is becoming near to 0. So this is also becoming 0 and this is also becoming 0. If 0 and 0 is multiplied, so it is not having a positive value, it will not match with this one. So this one is the drawbacks of Bohr's atomic model. That means Heisenberg's principle proves that Bohr's atomic model is not exact atomic model, or we can say that it is not exactly same. So after this Heisenberg's principle, next is we led to the quantum atomic model of atom, and which has been accepted by everyone nowadays. So my next video will be on quantum model of atom, that is the exact model of atom. I hope I am able to make you understand about the topic and make you clear your doubt. These are very important for the point of view of your exam and competitive exam. Each and every point, each and every line is important. So please go through the video several times and clear your doubt. I have compressed the topic so that you can understand it very well. Thank you very much.